Hello, hello, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm finishing the setup, so just give me a couple of minutes, guys. There we go. How are you doing, guys? It's been a while. I'm sorry for the radio silence this last couple of days. We've been, I've been having some issues. I was sick. We got a little kid, a little baby. Well, she's about to be 2 years old, and you guys know when kids get sick, then the mom gets sick, then the dad gets sick, and it's just a mess on the house anytime there's someone sick on it. So yeah, that's why I haven't been able to upload stuff to the channel, and that's why we didn't have our Monday portfolio review or portfolio Monday stream. But we're gonna be working today on this character right here. We've been playing with this guy for a little while, this lurk from Pathfinder, and we're gonna continue today. For some reason, I'm not seeing the chat. I'm gonna refresh this thing. I'm not sure if I should refresh it. I'm scared that oh, there we go. There's the live chat. Hello, hello. Music is high. Let me get that down. There we go. Yeah, Mert, I was mentioning, I was sick. We got some sort of like seasonal cold or something. It's not COVID. It wasn't as bad. But we've been like having, or we needed some rest this last couple of days. But we're back. And today we're gonna continue with this guy right here. Let me get the reference. How are you guys doing? How's your week been? Make a stylized character like Disney, says Sia. Stylized is not really my strength, to be honest. I've done some stylized things before, but it's not really... It's not what I like the best, and it's not what I know how to do the best. There's this artist, he's a Mexican artist as well. He's really good. I would love to know, like, I know how he does his stuff, but I just haven't, like, I've never practiced this sort of style. He does this sort of like pinup girls. His name is Carlos Ortega. He's from Guadalajara, another one of the big cities here in Mexico. And he's been like, he's been everywhere. Like, he's been the face of ZBrush for a couple of years now. And he does amazing, like, stylized characters. Really cool, dude. Can you suggest any course for it? That's a great question. I'll need to take a look. I'm sure there's courses out there about like Disney stylized stuff. There's another guy. He's frequently featured on the Pixelogic streams. Dane Olson, I think is his name, and he does a lot of stylized things as well. Okay, so today I want to focus on the hands. I think that's a good piece of the character to polish, because right now the hands are looking a little bit weird, especially here on the palm. There we go. Also, by the way, did you notice I changed the setup a little bit? We're back to a standing setup now, which should make it a little bit easier because I was having some pains on the neck as well from sitting all day long. So with this setup, I can switch from standing to sitting. Hello, Lubomir. There's a lot of stuff we need to do this week. We missed a couple of days, so we're gonna continue with the Japanese environment. Probably tomorrow's video is gonna be about. No, actually, tomorrow's video is gonna be about the creature contest. Okay, so we're gonna be talking about the submissions, where to submit, and all that stuff. How to submit. And then on the Friday, we're probably going to do a little bit of the Japanese environment. And then Saturday is going to be... What could it be? Probably like a tip or like some techniques, like new technique. I think that would be interesting. Let's really make the fingers a little bit more volvulus. Happy Valentine's, by the way, guys. Did you guys have a good time yesterday? I'm not sure if that's something that you guys celebrate in your country. But over here, it tends to be quite a big of a deal. Well, not super big of a deal, but people tend to, you know, go the extra mile a little bit. There we go. So as you can see, just clay buildup. I'm just using clay buildup here. And I am a maidenless, says Sia. No girlfriend for Prince. Hey, it's still you can celebrate with some friends. In Mexico, we call it the Day of Love and Friendship. That would be like the literal translation. So people who have no girlfriends or boyfriends can also like celebrate with their friends. Sunday for a live stream. Yeah, we could try a Sunday live stream. That would be an interesting one. I've been using Sundays to get some rest as well, because with all the like commitments and work that I have over here, it can get quite hectic during the week, and I need to spend some time with my family. But this weekend we're not gonna go anywhere, so we might be able to do a stream or something. Cool. So let's add the spikes. I think that's one of the things that we are missing here. This monster has a lot of spikes, and I did a video about the spikes a couple of, like last week. It was about the vector brushes. And the vector brushes are a really good way to do fast iterations or fast sculpts. You can just go brushes, load a brush, and we got this stylized horns. You can get this, by the way, if you go to the if you go to the video where I did this, guys, you can get the brush for free from Gumroad. I uploaded it there. So I'm gonna be changing I got like several different types. There's gonna be some resculpting that needs to happen here, because as you can see, like not all of the horns they're getting a little bit pixelated because we're literally pushing the things up and down. Where's the? There we go. So you can they have some horns right there on the back, and then some horns like on the back leg as well. So yeah, you can get this one for free, guys, if you want. And now I think we need to do a little bit of work on the back legs before we finally like increase the resolution of the Dynamesh, so that we can start adding more details. Gorav Dastas is still waiting for some to play the maiden role. Un saludo en español, Silver Saibot. Ali Bali, hello, do you know about NFTs? I do. And unfortunately, they don't have the best reputation. They were a really cool concept when it started. I don't know. Like, to be honest, I dabbled a little bit into the thing. Like, I tried learning a little bit about them. I actually a client contacted me and he wanted some help with the what's the word? With a set that they were doing, and I helped him. But unfortunately, I've heard so many bad things about them and not so many good things that right now my general consensus is that the way they're handling them is not the best idea, to be honest. I think they're overpriced, most of them. I don't think they're adding anything to the art community. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan, to be honest. I know there's people that have made a lot of money out of NFTs, but I also know a lot of people that have lost a lot of money on NFTs. So that's why I always urge my students, whenever there's new things, new technologies come around, always be a little bit skeptical at first, and don't put as the quote says, don't put all of your eggs in one basket. So if you want to try it out, that's fine, but don't invest more than you are. That you're willing and that you're able to afford losing, because again, I've mentioned this before. I have a really good friend of mine, and he worked for this NFT company, and they promised him a lot of money, and he did a lot of pieces, and at the end they paid him nothing, and they took all the money, and the guy who was a creator of the NFTs, he's partying with Lamborghinis and stuff, and he who was the artist, he gets nothing. So it's very, very unfortunate that it happens, but when new things like those things arrive and they're not regulated, it can get quite tricky. Okay, so my advice is, if you want to try it out, fine, just be careful. Okay, be careful and understand that if something goes wrong, since it's not regulated, no one's going to be able to help you. Okay. He said, Valaji says, hi Valaji. Cybot says, ¿has pensado en hacer un directo con Daniel Bell? Sería épico tenerlo en Nexttut. Let's see who he is. I haven't heard of him. Daniel Bell 3D. Oh, he's a figure creator. Nice. Oh, damn, he's really good. Yeah, I think I've seen some of his stuff. Yeah, he's great, man. I don't know him, but we could definitely send him a message and talk to him. Maybe he'll want to come online. Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome, Lee. Again, it's not. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I do see some interesting uses for it. I remember when I was learning about it, someone was saying, imagine you buy a house, and not only do you get the deeds of the house with the government, you also get an NFT of the house, right? And that NFT is linked to the house, so whoever owns the house owns the NFT. That's kind of cool. I've seen other people hey, you know what? You can own an NFT of a painting or of a sculpture, and you also own the physical sculpture. And that way, if people see the NFT online, you're posting on a forum or something, and they see that you have the picture, they're like, oh, this guy is the owner of that guy, of the piece, right? But I've also heard the critiques, people saying, well, it's just a JPEG, right? Anyone can just copy and paste the JPEG. The only things that gives that JPEG value is the fact that you can find the link to the JPEG on the blockchain. But if people don't care about that, then does it really matter that you have the link on the thing? It's complicated, right? I know people value authenticity quite a bit in certain things, but there's also a lot of people that don't, and trying to convince those that don't to give value to something that they don't feel has a value can be really complicated. I think my legs are really small, so I'm gonna push the fingers forward a little bit. I'm gonna bring this down so it kind of looks like he's actually touching the ground right there. Gotta be very careful here. Eventually, I do want to 3D print this guy, so I'm gonna be using it. so I'm trying to make sure everything like matches and looks nice. You can see the angles here on the back leg. There's this like heel, and then it goes forward. Maybe I need to flatten this out. Something like this. Keep the questions coming, guys. Keep the questions. I'm always happy to answer as precise as I can. Okay, so I think we're in a good shape right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn off Dynamesh, and I'm just gonna give this a couple of subdivision levels. Let's start with 1. And now that we have subdivision levels, we can start working on some like details. So for instance, here on the center or near the mouth, I can see that we have like this thin surface thing right there. So I'm gonna start carving in that sort of like tension line that we will have right here. We gotta be careful, right? We don't want to overdo it. Usually with 3D printing, you want to keep things slightly thicker than you would expect, because when you print things that are really, really thin, then you can get into some issues when 3D printing. Someone recently asked on our courses, he was having issues with his printer. And even though I don't know every single model of printers, there are some common errors that are kind of like universal. And this is one of them. Like when people do very, very thin things, these things tend to break. And you get like, well, you don't get the result that you're expecting. So that's why for statues and things like that, whenever they're doing like magic spells and elements like that, they look like thick bands or thick volumes with the overall element. Kind of like part of the process. Sabot asks, what is the strong point of Modo? I've seen they used it for UVs. Modo was a really strong like modeling software a couple of years ago. Like people used it quite a bit. However, I've never learned it, to be honest. And I think competition-wise, there are like stronger modeling softwares now. So I'm not sure what the strength of it would be right now, like in today's time. However, I know that it has some really interesting modeling features. Yes, you can use it for UVing as well, but to be honest, Maya nowadays has a really like strong, really powerful UV like setup. Even Blender has some really nice UV plugins. 3D Code has UVs, even ZBrush has UVs. And from what I've seen lately with all of this photogrammetry stuff and things like that, UVing is kind of going away. I'm not saying it's going away, but people are relying less and less on like perfect UVs, and they're using a lot of like triplanar mapping, automatic UVs and stuff like that. Because back in the day, one of the reasons why we needed clean UVs was so that it was easy to find the pieces and easy to paint them in Photoshop. Nowadays, with 3D painting, in Substance, in Mari, in Mudbox, in like a lot of things, you can have like whatever UV you want, and as long as it has all of the faces represented there, it's fine. So yeah, I'm not sure how strong Modo would be unless there's a specific studio that's using it and that you really want to go into that studio. I would probably advise you to learn a different software for modeling. Balaji says, how to approach the client 3D work, your advice? That's a really good question. And I see that you're just at another one which says, any new course come related to monster modeling? Not yet. The next one that's going to be releasing at the end of this month is hard surface modeling in Maya, and texturing and rendering, of course. And then we're probably going to do rigging. I'm still not sure if we're going to be doing rigging, like a quadruped rigging thing, or something else. But I'll let you guys know. That's still on the on the on we'll see. Ali says, nowadays I'm learning Blender. Yeah, Blender is really good. This was one of the lessons that I learned when I started recording. I think it was the first year when I started recording, so almost 2 years ago, I made a video comparing Maya and Blender, and it was one of the most heated debates we had on the channel back then, because people have really strong opinions about what their favorite software is. And I did mention on that video that at that time I was really biased towards Maya. So I have been using Maya for like 12 years now, and it was very difficult to me to give more points to Blender because I didn't know really about Blender. So what ended up happening is, after that video and after listening to all of the comments, I was like, people are really like fascinated or really into Blender, so let's take a look. And I started learning Blender back then, and after probably like 5-6 months of transferring most of the knowledge that I have from Maya into Blender, I realized that indeed it is a really powerful software, especially if you're going to be working on like the indie industry, because it allows you to have more flexibility. If you're going to go for AAA studios, or if that's your goal to work in like the US or in Canada or in Europe where they're using AAA stuff, then you're probably going to need a little bit more of Maya, because that's like the industry standard, or it's one of the industry standards. However, Blender is indeed really powerful. Here in Mexico, it's an indie industry pretty much, and most of my artists on the studio right now, they're using Blender, and it's really good, and we don't have to pay anything. So that's a huge plus. Let's take a look at some of the questions over here. It says, will you UV and texture this? Probably not, because this is going for 3D print, Graph. But I will show you the 3D printing process. We need LODs courses so bad. Literally 0 courses about it. See, one of the reasons why there's not many courses anymore at Duca is because, for instance, Unreal does LODs automatically, pretty much. And LODs were used on a time where performance was really important. Nowadays, polygons are really not that problematic, so you can have hundreds of thousands of polygons in a scene, and as long as you optimize other parts of the elements, you can get away with them. So if I'm being completely honest, in the 12 years of experience that I've been doing 3D, I've never had to do LODs. Like, no client has ever asked me to do LODs of the things that I've done for them. I know other friends of mine, they have done LODs and it's part of their job, but since I have never like really done them, I know how to do them, but it's not something that that I'm an expert at. I don't think I could teach a course about those, but I'll let Naleen know about this, and maybe we can find someone who can teach us a little bit more about LODs. Finding a little bit more detail here on the horns, just to make them kind of like pop from the face of the frog here. We got Alexander Petrovic. I somehow missed the huge discount you had on your courses. Do you think you'll have another one sale coming sometime? Yes! I'm not gonna tell you exactly when, because I need you guys to be to be subscribed and everything to get the news as fast as possible. But we're gonna have more discounts coming. Don't worry. We'll always try to find a way to give back to the community with the discounts. So yes, we will have more discounts coming soon. However, you can check our Skillshare link as well. Skillshare, I think, gives you like 20 or 30 days free trial, and that should be enough to watch like one course and follow it. And if you like them, we usually try to keep them at a reasonable pricing in Udemy as well. So supporting us, of course, is greatly appreciated. There we go. Now let's separate all of this, like deep groups that I'm adding to the character are important for the painting process, because when you paint, there's a technique called washes, where you like dilute the paint a little bit more than usual with water, and then you let it fall into the crevices, and it pools in those crevices, and it gives a really nice like deep contrast to the whole thing. We have a Houdini course, Valigi. We've announced it several times. If you go to the Udemy site, you should find a Houdini course for beginners. Like it covers all of the necessary things for like basic modeling, texturing, simulation, and stuff like that. So you might want to check that one out. I haven't actually like watched it. I didn't do that course. It was done by another teacher, and I haven't watched it because I haven't had time. But I've seen the exercises, and they're really, really, really good. So yeah, you might want to check that one out. I'm gonna add something here, like small, like little bumps and stuff, kind of like to fade in the details. Maybe not as aggressive, so I'm gonna use Stream Dynamic here to kind of remove them a little bit. There we go. Now, for instance, on the horns here, I'm also gonna divide them, and we can start adding some line details. Again, those like hard lines are really cool because when you paint, the paint pulls on those lines and it gives it more depth. You can of course paint this on a flat surface, but it's usually a little bit nicer to have something to work with. I'm going to use Stream Dynamic here to flatten some of those elements. There we go. Give me just 1 second, guys. One second. Is scripting or coding necessary to learn UE5? Not really, depending on what you want to do. Like if you just want to use it for like renders and for like some like cinematic shots and stuff, you can learn Unreal without a lot of scripting. The cool thing about Unreal is that the scripting inside of Unreal is called visual scripting. So you use these nodes to generate the connections and everything. And it's pretty intuitive, I would say. However, you do need to know about basic like programming principles, such as addition, subtraction, how to use variables, the types of variables there are, how to send information from one thing to another. I call that a direct communication, indirect communication. Like there's a little bit of a learning curve on the like scripting side of things. But again, since it's not done, what's the word? It's not done traditionally with like actual like writing code. You can actually do it visually. I find it quite easy to implement. Like I learned visual scripting just from watching like tutorials and like YouTube videos. So you can definitely learn that way as well. I'm gonna go now to the ribcage here, and I know frogs usually are not like buffed, but this one kind of is. So I'm gonna like mark the ribcage here, and then there's a couple of muscles that we sometimes find close to the ribcage. I'm gonna just be adding this sort of like volumes. This will be like the pectoral muscle. There we go. And on this like scythe spikes here, also need to kind of like blend them with the arm. So I'm pretty much just sketching like the details right here. I'll answer the questions in just a second. Give me just 1 second. Because otherwise we spend the whole session answering questions and and we don't advance with the little character here. Be right there. When can we see a sneak peek of the hard surface course? This weekend. I'll showcase a small sneak peek this weekend. You guys are gonna like it. I think you guys are gonna like it. It's a really fun concept. It's a lot of modeling. It's gonna be like 15 hours of modeling, I think. And then we have texturing. We bring it into Substance Painter. And then we do a little bit of rendering inside of Maya with Arnold. We're gonna be using this for like commercial, so it's quite heavy on the poly count, but it's a fun project. I can tell you that I developed the concept along with my friend Xfox Eduardo. He is the guy that did the concept for the Tiefling for Thyros, the character that we did. He also did the concept for Gabala, the 3D printing course from last year. So he's been helping me with these concepts to create all of the different ideas. Okay, let's answer some questions. Sadil says, "Hi bro, hope you're doing good. Can you please tell how can I start earning some income from Maya and Substance Painter if I don't want to have any direct clients?" Yes, if you don't want to have any direct clients, the best option is to create assets and upload them to the different marketplaces that there are. So we have Unreal Marketplace, Unity Marketplace, ArtStation Marketplace. You can upload them to Gumroad. You could create your own Patreon, and offer like I don't know, maybe you are into cars and you're like, every month I'm gonna be modeling a car and it's gonna be free for my Patreon subscribers. So that way you can generate some income, and you are your own boss because you decide what to make and when to make it, right? Rather than having someone tell you. Sometimes, and that has happened to me when I upload like the courses and stuff, I will get people contacting me about like projects and stuff related to the courses. Sometimes I take some of those clients, sometimes I can't. Sometimes they're not paid, so I'm afraid I cannot take those. But yeah, like that would be the way I would do it. Like if you already know Maya and Substance, doing assets that could be useful for a game or for a experience and things, that's a really good way. And I can tell you that works because, for instance, here at the studio, we do that. Like when we start a new project, we first make a quick like exploration on what things have already been done. For instance, right now we're doing something related to deserts, and we just bought a cactus pack. Like why would we spend time and money like modeling cactuses, which are not as important, when we can just buy them, right? So I know that whoever did the cactus got a nice little bit of money from our purchase because we're going to be using the models. So that's one of the ways that you could do it. The Capitalist says, "Is this hard surface class an update to the one you already have or completely new?" It's completely new, the Capitalist, but it's like the next level. So the one that you got was I think it was like introduction to hard surface modeling or something, where we do the toaster and the GameCube controller and we do the camera and stuff. That's like an introduction level because we go from simple to hard in regards to the examples. This new one is a completely new one, and we are also going to be covering texturing, which we don't cover on that basic one. We're going to be covering a little bit more about rendering, and it's a more advanced character. So I do suggest, if you don't have any hard surface modeling skills, to first take that one, because a lot of the things that we learn on that one will be used on this next one. Alexander Petrovic. Petrovic, that's a really cool last name. What's the general workflow when it comes to exporting a very high-res sculpt from ZBrush into another software? Do I somehow retopologize in ZBrush or simply export high-res textures? Again, it depends for what you're going to be doing. So if you're going to be using this for 3D print, you usually decimate and you export the decimated mesh. If you're going to be using for games, you decimate, you export, you retopologize, and you texture inside the Substance Painter. If you're going to be using this for film, you could do a series mesher and export the displacement maps. So normally you don't export like this super high quality thing. Like you're going to go for something a little bit more, like a little bit less resolution. And one of the things that we do need for UVs especially is we do need some clean topology, which in the case of this character right here, we don't have right now. I forgot he has like this round things at the side. Frogs usually have the like sort of membrane. Thinks they're their ear or something, so just gonna carve in and add it right there. Just that one right there, pretty much. I'm gonna get rid of the poly paint. It's distracting me a little bit. Kinda wanna see how it looks, how it would look printed. So I actually have another material too. Oh, that is the material. There's another material that I have over here. I've talked about this once before. There's a... Oh, it's not here. Oh, yeah, there's... Let's use that one. So, there's this super cool artist. His name is Glauco Longhi. He has worked at Naughty Dog, I think. So he worked on the... was it The Last of Us? I think it was The Last of Us at Naughty Dog, and he shared his like custom interface and materials several years ago. You can look him up on Google. It's a Glauco Longhi like ZBrush setup, and he has this like 3 materials that are really cool. This like plastiline or sculpt specular. It's really good because you can see a little bit of the shininess, and it's a material. So if you change the color, it actually like changes color. So we can go for sort of like a bluish hue if we want to get closer to the character. How to use poly paint as a texture in Substance Painter. I am afraid that you cannot use it as poly paint inside of Substance Painter. You can use it as a source for your ID map. If you poly paint with like flat colors here inside of ZBrush, so you can use it as an ID map, but you cannot use it as a texture because Substance Painter needs a UV, and the poly paint is not UV related. It's like polygon related, so you can't. What you could do though is if you poly paint an object inside of ZBrush that has a UV, you could export the texture and then import the texture and have a layer with that texture to work from. It's a little bit more convoluted. I'm not sure I would use it on my personal pipeline, to be honest, but it could be done that way. I'm gonna use trim dynamic here to flatten some of the like the horns, like the little spikes that we have over there. And I'm also gonna use it to flatten a lot of the lines. Like I don't want this guy to like I don't want to see all of the construction lines that I use for the forms, because depending on the 3D printer that you have, those lines could indeed be visible, and it's gonna give you like a slightly weird effect. Hey, 3D Learner, I'm happy to see you as well. I was telling these guys that unfortunately I got sick this last weekend, and I needed to take some days to rest while while keeping the studio going and the classes and everything. So unfortunately I had to sacrifice the stream and some of the week videos to get some rest time. But I'm back. I am back. Start softening. As you can see, I have a lot of volume, a lot of form. Now it's just a matter of smoothing things out so that we don't see the brush strokes. We can of course leave some of them, for instance here, some like skin folds like hanging and stuff. But all of those like big brush strokes that we have, I definitely want to get rid of them. I will give one sneak peek. Okay, you guys want sneak peek? I'll give you guys one sneak peek. I'll show you the concept, okay? Is that cool? You guys want to see the concept? Oh yeah, Pablo Munoz, great character as well. Pablo Munoz is a great. Topi, you got that question. Sorry, I didn't see it. Yeah, Pablo Munoz, he's a great sculptor, and he has a lot of tricks about the stuff. Cool. I'm gonna show you the concept piece. For our hard surface, we're gonna be doing this mechanical lion. And it's gonna be like several stages. We have like the exoskeleton, or the inside skeleton. It's all gonna be fully functional. It's fully functional. I'm quite a good amount done with this. Then we're gonna sculpt and model, well, not sculpt, like model all of the armor pieces for the lion. And then finally we're gonna do this sort of like solar panels that are gonna be his mane. So the whole process and how to do this mechanical lion is going to be coming later this month as soon as we finish it and release for you. So yeah, we're gonna, like as 3D Learning saying there, we're gonna go from basic simple things such as cylinder and boxes all the way to super complex pieces like all of this armor bits. Everything's gonna be done in Maya. We're not gonna do any sort of like sculpting or anything. So it's traditional box modeling. It's really cool. And at the end, we're gonna texture this guy and we're gonna do a very cool render. The idea is like imagine 20 years from now, this robot would be on the African savannah, and he will be taking care of all of the animals so they're not being hunted, right? So he'll be like a guardian, and actually that's the name of the project. It's Project Guardian, because he's gonna be taking care and protecting all of the animals in the savannah. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's your sneak peek for today. I'm gonna show you a sneak peek of the model on the weekend, but that's the next project that we're gonna have. Let's see. There you go. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. If you guys are here, I feel like it's a good idea to thank you and show a little bit of a sneak peek. IC Film says, hello sir, I'm from Korea and used to work as a film staff in a Korean movie, CF, and music video films, but I stopped working and started learning 3D modeling at 31 years old. May I ask if it's too late to start learning 3D modeling at age 31? I want to make my own 3D animation short film and sci-fi movies. No, it's not late, IC Film. I started when I was 20, a little bit like 19. I've had people that started when they were 13 or 12, super young. And I've had friends that started like really, well, I wouldn't say really late because it's never late, but they were older. Like when I was a student, I had a friend who was like 40 years old, and the oldest student that I saw at Noman, he was like 60 years old. So it's never too late. It's definitely like you're definitely going to be competing against people that are starting really young. But remember that it's not a competition like against them. It's a competition about yourself and how far you can go, right? Yeah, that's the idea of Gaurav. The idea is if people like this course, the next one for that one would be a rigging course, like how to rig it and prepare it for animation. 3D Learner says, I want to learn super complex modeling and want to specialize in hard surface modeling. Is this demanding or crowded? I'm not. Oh, you mean on the industry? I'm not sure. I'm not, since I'm not constantly looking for a job, thankfully, I don't know what the demand is right now, but the industry usually goes in like cycles. So you're gonna have sometimes you're gonna have a lot of like fantasy games and creatures and monsters, and then you're gonna have a lot of sci-fi and robots and aliens, and then you're gonna have a lot of like medieval and or like prehistoric and stuff. It kind of goes in waves. So when the sci-fi wave comes, that's when a lot of like hard surface modelers are needed. But usually hard surface modeling is a skill that it's never bad to have. So it's always a good skill, to be honest. Industrial machine modeling works in use with software, best Blender and ZBrush. I think Blender will give you a more precise control over like industrial modeling because you have measurements over there. You can measure things with like centimeters and millimeters and stuff like that. ZBrush is a little bit more freeform. You can conceptualize something inside of ZBrush and then bring it into Blender and clean it up. That's another way that people can work and have worked on the past. So yeah, that's but yeah, like usually if you're gonna do this for industrial things, actually if you're gonna do it for industrial things, you're probably gonna be using some sort of like CAD, like CAD software, or like I think it's called AutoCAD. which is like super precise because machines use that information to model. The softwares that we use are usually for presentation, for renders, for videos, for animation, because we don't care about like the precision of the pieces. If you do care about the precision, again, you're probably going to be using other softwares. Like if an architect was gonna build my house and he was using Maya, I would be really worried, because like, are you sure everything's gonna work? Because I know Maya, and I know Maya is not precise. So you usually want people who are gonna be dealing with real world stuff to be working with softwares that are gonna be using like real world scales and like proper measurements. There's softwares that calculate how much weight something can support or how much tension and stuff like that. That's the kind of things that you want for those sort of projects. There we go. This little dude is looking good. Don't you guys think? If you guys remember, when we started this guy, it was nothing. It was just a sphere. So I think we're in a really good position. Still need to fix a couple like muscles and stuff, like all of this area right here. I'm actually gonna inflate this area, even though the objects are gonna touch. That's fine. Just gonna make it look a lot better. Let's see. Yeah. Product design. As Topi says, it's a good idea. Phone fee. I have all of your Udemy courses. Thank you for supporting us, my friend. It's always good to know that. Andy, yes, of course you can ask a question. Just write it down. I'm happy to answer. 3Learner says, also, I'm thinking to become a character artist. I really like characters, but I'm thinking that maybe character artist is very competitive and crowded. Yes, characters is definitely one of the most crowded areas in the 3D industry, and it's pretty much, I always give the example of like music bands, right? Like when you think about a music band, like Queen, right? Super classic. The one that you think the most of is the vocalist, like who sings, right? And after that is probably the guitarist or the guitar guy. And after that, maybe the bass, maybe the drums. Like it depends on the band, of course. But they're usually not as famous. Not as famous as the character artists, or as the singers, right? So the same happens with our industry. That the guys that are on the top are the character artists and the animators. Like those are the guys that everyone talks about and everyone knows their names and stuff. And then after that, you got a lot of like texture artists and a lot of programmers. Like there's a lot of people in productions, but you don't hear much about them because they're not on the spotlight of the most like demanding things and stuff. So again, if you want to go for that, that's fine. Just keep in mind there's going to be a lot of competition and it's tough. But if you spend the time and learn your skills and everything, you can have a shot. You can definitely have a shot. Let's see the questions. Any plan on making a course for UE5 for beginners? If you mean like programming and stuff, not really, because I'm not a programmer. Like I know just the very basic things, and I wouldn't like to do something that I'm not really proficient at. But we can look for another instructor that has a little bit more knowledge about that, and maybe we could do a course like following that sort of information, because I think it's valuable. It is valuable as an artist, even as a character artist or as a texture artist, to know a little bit about Unreal, because you can do some really cool and amazing stuff with it. Unreal is a super powerful software. We've been using it here at the studio for like several years now, and it's just so powerful for artists, because you don't need to have that background in programming. Let's add some lines here. That would be the knee. As you can see, I'm being a little bit more aggressive in certain lines because I want those lines to be like more present. So all of this like dips and stuff, we can be a little bit more aggressive, because when we soften out again, they're going to be really cool to paint. Let's see. Any plan? No. Looking really good. You're not gonna polish it? Yeah. We're gonna add a little bit of wrinkles and stuff on top of this guy. to go for like the high frequency detail. And as you can see, I'm using my smooth here to remove a lot of the brush strokes. Now you also need to keep in mind the size at which you're gonna be like printing something. Like give me 1 second, I'll show you something. So I follow this guy called Artisan Guild. The artist is Andrea Tarabella, and I'm a patron of his. So I constantly get the sculpts that he makes. The full screen. So this is a sculpt that he made like this month, and it's like a troll. You can see it right there. But if you take a look at the size, like this is the size. So he needs to worry a little bit more about the details of all of these stones and stuff because the figure is quite big. A couple of months ago, he did another series with smaller trolls, which is this guy. Unfortunately, this one broke, so I had to give him a little bit of a of a splint right there. So the detail in this one does not need to be as precise because the size is going to be smaller. Of course, if you print it super big, then that means that you're going to have to add more detail. But that's the thing. So this frog is probably going to be like the second little character that they show you. It's not going to be as big. So we don't need to add as much detail. But I am going to be adding this sort of like wrinkles here. And for 3D printing, you usually want to be a little bit like more intense than you would normally do it for games and stuff. Because 3D printing tends to blur things a little bit. So we need to go a little bit extra so that it really shows when we are seeing the actual print. Let's answer some more questions. Andy, your question. Sometimes it feels like I'm stuck in ZBrush limbo and don't have the courage to finish the project. It never feels finished. The model stays in ZBrush for months. Any tips to get out of this mindset? Yes. I'm going to tell you a very hard truth. The models are never finished. So there's this phrase by Picasso that says art is never done. It's just abandoned. And he's right. Like you could always keep polishing things till the end of times, right? So you need to learn when to stop and be like, okay, I learned all that I had to learn with this project. It's good enough. It's nice. That's it. Like I just stop and I just start a new one, because with each new project that you start, you're gonna learn new things, and then you can come back and maybe fix a couple of things that you saw on that old project. Actually, that's one of the videos that I want to do. I'll probably do that one tomorrow. Actually, I'm not sure. Tomorrow or the next, or no, I think that will be for Saturday. I'm gonna show you how I would fix an old sculpt. Okay, so I'm gonna bring in an old like female face that I have, and I'm gonna show you how I would fix it now that I have more knowledge. So it's fine to abandon projects, but you do want to finish them. Like if it's not finished, just try to get it so that it's presentable, so that it's finished, and then jump onto the next one. And that's gonna give you more knowledge and more. You're gonna learn more from those sort of like projects. Let's see. Mimi, hello. Hi, Abraham. Glad to see you. I have taken 3 courses of you on Udemy, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm enjoying it. Great. Yeah, thank you for your support. I was missing for the last couple of days, but I'm back now. What's the position of 3D code in the industry? That's a great question. From the webpage that I've seen, it is like nicely positioned. I wouldn't say it's an industry standard, but for instance, for hand-painted textures, I've been teaching my students a little bit of that this last couple of weeks, and it's really good. Like I actually think I really prefer 3D code for hand-painted textures than Photoshop or Substance Painter. So it's a really good software. If you guys can learn it, I think it's worth it. Especially if you're gonna go for stylized things. If you're gonna go for realistic things, maybe not that much. Like it might not be as great or as useful. But for stylized things, it's really good. There's usually a big muscle right here, which is the quad muscle. There we go, guys. I think I'm gonna stop it right here. I got some stuff to do here at the studio, but I wanted to drop in and just like answer some questions and let you guys know I'm fine. I'm fine. I was just sick a couple of days, but we're fine. Let's take a look at the progress. So let's save this first as Slurk001. Let's open the old Slurk. There we go. So we went from this to this. Not bad, right? Like, this is the thing with 3D. Unless you see things side by side, it can be a little bit difficult to realize how much you like polished or moved something. So as you can see, yeah, from a silhouette perspective, it's not that much of a change, but in the details, we really went in there and really like worked a lot of this stuff. Hello, is there a difference between shape brushes and vector displacement maps? Which is better, if you don't mind me asking? Yes, so shape brushes will only have an alpha, and it will just push things up and down. With vector displacement brushes, you can actually push things in different directions, so in like all of 3 axes. So they're really, really powerful. However, they are a little bit tricky. I did a video last week where I did the spikes, so if you want to check it out, the spikes are also available on that video for free. Faiscurio says, hi Abraham, good to see you. I'm your student on Udemy and really enjoying your courses. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for supporting the channel and the content. How many times I need to become proficient at sculpting? I really need to do it, but it feels like too hard and takes a lot of time to feel. Ooh, that's a great question. When I first learned sculpting, I was doing 1 sculpt every day for like 3 months. Like 1 head, 1 hand, 1 face, 1 like chest. Like, it's a lot of practice. Yes, it does take quite a bit of time, but it's part of the thing. Like, there's no shortcut for that one. Stamilvanan says, in film industry, what they using for rendering Arnold or Unreal? And Lightning also. Film usually is rendered with like traditional render engines like RenderMan, Arnold, V-Ray, like Octane and stuff like that. So when you look at Star Wars and things like that, they're not going to be doing it in the Unreal. However, they're doing a lot of pre-visualization with Unreal. Like the Mandalorian is using a lot of that. Like, they use this like really crazy screens, and they can see in real time how things are gonna look, or how a close representation of how things are gonna look. You might also want to check out, there's this was a teacher of mine. His name is Miguel Ortega, another Ortega. Miguel Ortega and Tran Ma. They created a film called The Voice in the Hollow. This one right here. Well, this is the like the question and answer and stuff. But if you can look this one up, it's called The Voice in the Hollow, and it's completely done in Unreal. So it's really, really impressive that they were able to make something that looks so good inside of Unreal, like fully inside of Unreal. So yeah, it's a really, really powerful thing, powerful software. Make a course on Arnold Complete Guide to Hypershade and Rendering. We do have one, which is the Cinematic Lightning course, 3D Learner. That one goes, like, we take a look, a heavy look on Arnold, so it has a lot of information. You might want to check that one out. And, but yeah, we're going to have to do something about the Hypershade later on. And Fascurio says, thanks for bringing on such good courses, but some artists tell me ZBrush is so precision and not. Yeah, it's very precision based. Like, you definitely need to learn the stuff around it. But once you master it, I think it's very, very fun, and you don't need a lot of time. Probably like a year. If you spend like a year like really, really pushing your ZBrush knowledge, you can get to a really, really good position quite quickly. So yeah. Cool, guys. So I gotta stop this one right here. So I'll just answer this last question. Difference between look depth and lighting. Look depth has to do with materials, like how the materials look, and the lighting has to do with the light. How do you render, how you place things so that they look better or not. So yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you very much again. Sorry for this last couple of days where I wasn't able to upload more stuff. I'm gonna be back tomorrow with more content. I'm gonna go work on some things and then come back later to record. But yeah, thank you very much, guys. I'll see you back in the next couple of days. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. It really helps the channel. And if you want to check any of our courses, we have the Skillshare links, we have the Udemy links, and you can check them in the description of this little live stream or on the description of any of our videos. Thank you very much, my friends. Have a good night if it's already late, and have a good day if you're just starting. So that's it, guys. Bye-bye.